on God.
Well, hi there. Welcome back. Now, what college kid hasn't missed a class due to a party the night before or faked an injury to buy time for an exam? The students at the law school of the District of Columbia University, they don't need such trivial excuses to skip school and even miss tests. The dean there has urged students to head up the road to Baltimore to take part in the protests. Fun, and give amateur legal counsel. That seems like a really great idea. We should talk about it with the panel. And look who's here. He's sexy, he's fast, he's Brian Kilmeade, co-host of Fox & Friends on Fox News Channel, and Kirsten Haglund, former 2008 Miss America and anchor at Stirk.com, and Katherine Timpf from the National Review and from Life as a lovely human pixie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. All right, so Brian, I'll ask you about this first, because the dean of the law school said that, she encouraged this kind of activism and wanted people to really get out there and help some of those young people on the streets. I don't know what they could do because they're not actual lawyers.
Right. How great is that in prison? Hi, I'm in school. I'm not really a lawyer yet. I'm here to help you get out of the jail. There's 200 people behind bars. How would you like to help them out for free? Now, number one, let's look at it practically. You need practical experience no matter what profession you want to be in, whether it's an electrician or this or that. So that's good. Number two is, if you look at that school and you see that the school is about 75% are on scholarship, it's a lot cheaper than everything else. It's why? Because they want to direct you towards this type of law.
Sure.
Most of those kids want to be, or those young men and women want to be doing this, so they're going to get some practical experience. They're not actually hiding anything. They're saying, go to those prisons, make me proud.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it is, some hands-on training. That's always. I loved my internship when I started in radio. It was very practical for me. But the dean goes on to say that the way communities of color, impoverished communities, interface with the police, it is the civil rights battle of our time. How do you feel about that?
Well, in fact, this is an issue that especially millennials and young people that are coming of age during this time, it's something that we're having to grapple with. But it's not like this is new. This happens in a cyclical pattern, over the, throughout the 20th century, this has been an issue. So this is not new. But also, to your point, they get real world experience, and maybe some of them, if they're, in their first year of law school, their second year, they'll get a taste of the real world and be like, I don't think I want to do this. Because we know law students perennially underemployed, underpaid. Maybe they'll get a glimpse of it and be like, I don't think I want to do this.
No, in this environment, there are too many law students. Now, what do you think? Would the dean also encourage them to go help out law enforcement? You thinking maybe give them some amateur legal counsel?
Right. Well, that's what's so interesting about this is I think it's a good idea. Their heart's in the right place, and that's what's good about it. It is an important issue. A lot of people get the book thrown at them, obviously, in these communities, and their whole lives are over. But what are they really going to do, right? They don't really know that much stuff.
Their law school books at them?
Well, no. Plus, how would you feel, though, if you're one of these people like, okay, this kid wants, you look like you need some legal counsel. Like, can I help you? How does this conversation go?
I learned
how about this?
And I know it's
bet enough lawyers do it for the money. How about lawyers that show up there just to get out of a test? Hi, I don't care about you. I just don't have to take a test.
I think they care. I mean, I care, but I can't offer them legal counsel either.
Well, you might do just as well. I've seen Legally Blonde like 15 times.
Yeah, I might.
All right, well, yesterday was a beautiful day in our nation's capital, a perfect opportunity for President Obama to go for an unannounced stroll with the National Teacher of the Year. Some school children outside the White House were thrilled to see them, but reporters were caught off guard by a Time magazine reporter named Zeke Miller caught up with President Obama when they stopped at a tea house called Teaism. He sprang into action. He whipped out his smartphone and caught it all on video, man. Whoa, yes. But wait. He didn't, because Obama barked at Miller, told him to drop the phone, so all we have is the White House propaganda reel. This is so upsetting to me.
Why?
Because this reporter didn't have the self-respect to realize that he is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and he should have kept going.
I think Jefferson did mention the iPhone. I think he does refer to it in the subtext. Look, I understand where the president's coming from. He just wants to hang out with the teacher for a little while. But in the big picture, how could he possibly take that job and work so hard, spend $2 billion to get it, and not realize that everything he's going to do is going to be recorded, has to be recorded, and for this person to have an iPhone and do it, that's it. You don't need a camera crew and a sound man and a boom microphone.
That's why technology is great. I don't feel bad for him. I mean, he knows what the job entails. If he wants privacy, go to the White House tea ceremony.
I know. It's been 7 years. He's just got one more year to just push through till he's out and he doesn't have to deal with this anymore. But this is the kind of campaign that he ran. You know, this is the world that he really rose to fame and stardom in, is this digital world where everything is on camera.
And you're used to this, too. You walked around with a crown for a year.
Oh, you have to assume that there is you have to assume that you're always being watched, that there's always going to be a camera on you at any time. And yeah, I get it, but freedom of speech.
Last word, Kat.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's being ridiculous. I videotape strangers all the time. If they're picking their nose in the subway, I'm videotaping it. I'm posting it on Instagram, right? You can't pick your nose or be the president in public because they're both something that the people want to see.
And thank goodness for Kat's Instagram. I've seen it. It's quite impressive. We'll see you guys a little later in the show. And we'll put those pictures up on Insta as well. I speak the young people's language. Coming up, the topical storm with Miss Piggy, a camel, and Robert Downey Jr. Ow! Look at that. Ding, ding, ding. Hello. Hi there. How are you? Actress Sofia Vergara's ex-fiancé Nick Loeb. I saw him last weekend at the White House Correspondents Association dinner. Oh, he's very tall. He's suing the Modern Family star for custody. What's unusual is that the former lovebirds never had children. He's seeking their 2 frozen embryos, their fetusicles. And now he's appealing to the court of public opinion with an op-ed in the New York Times that reads, quote, "A woman is entitled to bring a pregnancy to term even if the man objects. Shouldn't a man who is willing to take on all parental responsibilities be similarly entitled to bring his embryos to term even if the woman objects?" Our panel is back. It's Brian Kilmeade. It's Kirsten Haglund. It's Katherine Timpf. So, Brian.
Yes.
You love this story.
Well, number one, he was diagonal for me at the correspondence dinner. I didn't know how close. But here's the deal. I would like the story without all the color of what a horrendous upbringing he had. Did you hear what happened to this guy?
Oh, no.
He basically was raised by his nanny who just died. His father ignored him. His mother gave up custody. Okay, you're 40 years old. You broke up with a hot woman because you didn't want to settle down, perhaps?
Yeah.
Or just was taking off. I think Sophia should stand up and say, take the girls, they're girls, and grow them and raise them, and I'll visit them. That would make everything better.
I actually, I thought they had a case, Kirsten, until I read that they had a mutual agreement that said if they broke up, they couldn't have babies.
They both signed a consent form that said we cannot bring these embryos to term unless both parties agree, and one party does not agree. That's pretty black and white. She says no. He says I want them. But it kind of, when you read through the whole thing, the tone of the piece, it just feels a lot like revenge and airing public grievance. I want Sofia Vergara to stand up and share her side of the story, you know, because I'm sure she has something
probably
to
mortified. Like, she doesn't want any of this.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to do it as like a thing for his brand, right? Brand himself as a sensitive guy who loves babies.
And he was in politics. You know, he's running. Who knows if he's going to run in the political
No, but
world
you
again.
made a point that it sounds like, you know, this is a guy who wants to run again, and he's clearly pro-life, but
pro-parent.
Now, but here's the thing: like, if you agree to make embryos, you've agreed to make children. So what if they had the babies and then she said, I don't really want them? Could she throw them in the freezer?
Right, here, I don't understand how this even got started, right? Like, you're going to go through all of this. Like, well, first we tried to have kids this way, then we tried to have the kids this way, then we did this. If they weren't even really sure, because I heard via the internet that they actually broke up because she didn't know if she wanted kids and he wanted kids. That's a story that he's spinning, right?
Oh, yeah.
So now here we are talking about their
To
relationship.
make embryos. That's what you
Exactly. I mean, I think we're all glad that we're not part of this actual decision-making
Well, actually,
process.
I have offered to be their surrogate.
To be there.
Well, fantastic.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It'll be good
You would
for
have
ratings.
gorgeous babies. Well, you'd have gorgeous babies anyway, but especially if they're Sofia Vergara's babies.
Well, I'm hoping to have Sophia's babies because I'm a
That's how it
libertarian
works.
and I don't judge.
Yeah.
Well, if she has cable, it could happen.
Oh, you think she's watching
I
right
think
now?
She's watching right now.
Oh, text me. All right. Well, what is your most valuable commodity? Precious gems? Your children? No, it's sleep. And chances are you're just not getting enough of it. Lucky for you and the panel. We are in New York City, right here, where there's a spa that will give you the luxurious gift of a nap for just $1 a minute. What else do they do for $1 a minute? What? At that price, you can't afford not to sleep. Brian, what do you think about this?
Well, I can't believe that we got to this point. We got to pay to nap. I mean, I was still upset about paying for water. Now I got to pay to nod off. And what if you stay too long? What if you actually sleep an hour and a half?
Oh, yeah.
And you don't have the right money.
They're not going to wait.
They leave you in the chamber until you can get a surrogate?
No, I read about this online, of course, and they produce this natural sunlight, like the light slowly comes up to awaken you from your restful slumber. Yes.
Right.
Okay, I have been in zero gravity chairs,
Yeah.
and they are incredible. They had one at the Republican National Convention at one of these fancy pants spas, and you literally fall asleep in like 30 seconds.
I wouldn't fall asleep.
You would.
I wouldn't fall asleep.
You would.
Well, not in this chair, because I'd be paying for it.
Well.
I'd be freaking out the entire time. I'd be like, okay, I've already spent $3 and I'm not asleep yet. Okay, no, it's $14. I'm not, do you ever do that? You can't sleep at night and the later it gets?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of anxiety. I'm like, it's so late, I can't sleep. If I was paying to not sleep or to sleep and not sleeping, I would have a panic attack in this little van.
Well, you'd go broke is what you do.
Yeah, I'd go broke. I'd freak out and I'd be like, wow, this is
New York
great.
finds the most amazing way to get people to spend ridiculous amounts of money.
To separate you from your money.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
Like drop off groceries, drop out delivery laundry services.
Okay, I have one last question.
Yes.
And not on this topic. The Kentucky Derby and the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight are this weekend.
Right.
I think they should combine them. I honestly think that Pacquiao would be a fantastic jockey. And I imagine if he's on the horse and the horse is losing, what if he punches the horse in the shoulder?
In the show, that would be great. No need a whip.
You don't even need a whip.
But it's the first time with the Pacquiao fight. You can actually spend $100 and not go to the fight. You actually stay in your living room. That is what the tickets usually cost. Now you have to pay that just to watch on television, which you're already paying for monthly anyway.
But if you pay $100,000, then you can get a good ticket to the fight.
It's the fight of the century. It's the fight of the century.
Yeah, but it's this century. The century's quite young, and in this century, no one cares about boxing.
I just watch Law & Order SVU every night, all night.
Chung chung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Exactly how you do it.
dun.
Look at those two. Oh, they're so cute. And they have such a hard time standing up because they're elderly. Their combined age is 141.
Yeah, I mean, they're in their late 30s. There's no doubt about it, but both are distinguished.
Oh, there's
champions.
me in the left in the bikini.
And their combined earnings are going to be $300
But
million.
Law & Order SVU, though,
That's never going to
always interesting.
Mayweather's painted himself as the bad guy and Pacquiao the good guy. And one guy's a politician that's actually a congressman in the Philippines.
Yes, that's
He's
true.
a wonderful guy. He's actually a singer.
And the
Pope
other
calls him
one,
once a week.
commits, acts of domestic violence and gets 6 months, suspended.
Not
jail time.
not a sympathetic
Not cool.
story.
We spend time in.
Not cool. Yeah, but
he
like
paid his
3.
time.
Yeah, but 3 months.
Well, I mean,
At one point, he spent 3 months.
longer than Ray Rice,
Yeah.
certainly.
I don't know. Any of these guys that beat their wives, not cool. Don't want to support it, so I'm rooting for Pacquiao.
Okay.
Well, I think Pacquiao could win. I don't know what's going to happen, and my money is on Spring Rise Sunset. I don't know if that's a horse's name, but it is a paint color. Thank you so much for being here, Katherine, Kirsten, and Brian Kilmeade.
Thanks
The
for
only
having
one
us.
with the last name.
Yes. Sorry, we have 2 names. You just have the one.
Well, you guys should hold on to your hats, because guess who's coming up? Well, first of all, it is Thursday, and that means you're male, and that always makes me feel warm and fuzzy, like you're wrapped as a whoopee around me.